Hello, and welcome to another episode in the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. My name is Jason Perkins. I'm an attorney who specializes in handling Georgia workers' compensation cases. I created this series of videos to provide people who've been hurt at work in Georgia with helpful information about Georgia's workers' compensation laws and the benefits they should receive under those laws. Now, let's jump straight into today's topic. Today, I'd like to talk to you about how Georgia workers' compensation settlements are paid. Now, that really is a multi-part question. It involves a few different things. One is, how is the settlement actually determined as far as the amount? How is that settlement then finalized? And then when the settlement is paid, how is it paid and what sort of financial instrument it's paid and whether it's paid in a lump sum or over time. So I'm going to talk about all of those things in this video. Now we'll start with how a workers' compensation settlement amount is determined in a Georgia workers' compensation claim. Now, in Georgia, there's no requirement that either you or the insurance company ever settle your case. Settlement is voluntary on both sides. So if there's going to be a settlement, there has to be an agreement. That means that you're going to have to agree to accept an amount that the insurance company is willing to pay. Otherwise, your case is not going to settle. So it's only going to settle in that situation if you're willing to accept some amount the insurance company is willing to pay. Now, you probably want to settle your workers' compensation case for as much as you possibly can. The insurance company is a for-profit business, and they want to settle your workers' compensation case for as little as possible because that helps them make more money. So the tricky part of this is determining how you can get the workers' compensation insurance company to pay as much as possible, and also determining whether the settlement amount, whatever that top amount is that they're willing to offer, is an amount that you're better off accepting settling your case, or whether you're better just leaving your workers' compensation case open and not settling. Now, answering those questions really requires an expertise in Georgia workers' compensation law. So you're going to either need to have that expertise or have someone on your side who does in order to make the best decisions possible. Now, does a workers' compensation judge have to order a workers' compensation settlement? Well, the answer to that question is a little bit confusing. It's really yes and no. In Georgia workers' compensation cases, judges cannot force you to settle your case. So you can't go to court, or the insurance company can't go to court and order a settlement. But workers' compensation settlements do have to be approved by Georgia workers' compensation judges before they're final. So if you and the insurance company reach an agreement on your case, that settlement's technically not final at that point. There must be documents signed, and then those documents must be reviewed and approved by Georgia workers' compensation judge before the settlement is technically final, and you can force the insurance company to pay the settlement amount. Now, when you reach an agreement to settle your workers' compensation case and that settlement's approved by a workers' compensation judge, is the settlement amount paid in a lump sum or paid over time? Well, most Georgia workers' compensation settlements are paid in a lump sum. And the requirement in Georgia is that that money be paid within a certain period of time of when the judge approves the settlement. And that settlement time is 20 days. We're going to talk about that some more in a little bit. But workers' compensation settlements in Georgia can also potentially be what are called structured settlements, or settlements that are paid by annuities. So those are things that are paid over time as opposed to in one lump sum. Whether the settlements can be paid in a lump sum or annuity is really depending on what you agree upon with the insurance company. So it's possible to agree that it's paid in lump sum. It's also possible to agree that it's paid over time. And often there may be situations where the settlement is a little bit of both. So the insurance company may pay some amount of money in lump sum time settlement, and then make payments over time every so often through what's called an annuity. Again, the settlement documents are going to determine whether the payments are made in a lump sum or whether they are annuitized. Now, when the payments are made for a settlement, how are those payments issued? Are they paid by check or by direct deposit or some other form of electronic payment? Usually the settlements in a Georgia workers' compensation case are paid by checks that are mailed. Georgia workers' compensation law does allow for direct deposit, but it only allows for direct deposit if both sides are agreeing to it. So both you and the insurance company have to agree in order for direct deposit to be used. If payments are made by mail in a settlement, then the law requires the insurance company to mail those checks directly within 20 days of the settlement, as long as they're being mailed from inside of Georgia. If they're being mailed from outside of Georgia, they have to be mailed a little bit earlier than that in order to be timely. Now, when payments are made by direct deposit, the determination of whether the payment is on time depends on when the insurance company initiates the automated clearinghouse transfer with their financial institution. That's the point at which the payment is determined to be made. And so if a direct deposit payment was agreed on as part of settlement, that would need to be done within 20 days of the date that the settlement was approved by the workers' compensation judge in the Georgia workers' compensation claim. I hope you found the information in this video helpful. If you have, please consider two things before you go. First, I'd really appreciate if you give this video a like or a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to this channel if you'd like to be notified of future videos in the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. Second, if you've got workers' compensation questions, please reach out to get answers. I offer free consultations in Georgia workers' compensation cases. If you'd like to set one of those up, there's two easy ways you can do so. The first is by calling the phone number at the bottom of the screen, and the other is by reaching out to us to our website, which is www.perkinslawtalk.com. Just click on and submit the free consultation request form there, and a member of our team will reach out to you and get a consultation scheduled. I'd like to thank you again for watching this video today. I'd like to wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injuries.